Welcome to the Proven Performance Podcast from S&S Cycle. Today, we're going to be talking to the builders that created our KN Series bikes in our vintage tour. And that's Kevin Teach Baas and Chip Kastelnik, part of San Diego Customs. Welcome, guys. Nice to have you here. I'm going to jump right in with some questions for you because it makes it easier to know what we're talking about. And the very first thing, I don't care who goes first, why did you want to be part of the tour when we called up and asked you about it? Anybody go first? Or no?
Go ahead.
All right. Well, I mean, for me, it was an honor to get the call because my family's been around S&S products my whole life. My dad building his old shovelhead and panhead strokers back in the day, and having S&S support my high school class back in the early 2000s. It was just like everything kind of came back full circle, and it was pretty cool now to be a part of something as cool as this and like a piece of history in S&S's calendar of what they've done cool. So to be asked, it was an honor, and to be able to build a bike alongside these other 5 talented guys who are amazing builders. It was cool. Like I feel blessed and honored. I'm humbled to have been asked. I don't feel like I'm any of these guys' caliber. I just built some cool old shit, but for me, it was fun and it was exciting. And like I say, I'm very honored, and it's a neat way to have a story to tell. Like when I'm dead and gone, hopefully my great grandkids will still see that bike in my shop and see the story about it and hear about all the stuff great grandpa did back in his day.
That's cool. Chip, what about you, man?
I was just excited to be asked to do something that it put us outside of our comfort zone. And dealing with a knucklehead was not really a traditional thing that we deal with. And we've been working with you guys for so long that it felt obligatory, because we do so many things together that it was fun to come up with a concept that I haven't really seen anywhere really. And the fact that people dig it, that's cool too. I was just super excited to have the opportunity to do it. I know everyone else was as well. So stoked to work with everybody. Stoked to see the diversity of the group. That was kind of interesting, because usually when people get involved in these things start all looking the same, and these bikes all look different, all set up different. People from different backgrounds and different vibes, and all made for an interesting outcome.
I would agree that the diversity was incredible. For me, when I was looking at who the pairings were even going to be, and the knuckles, the pans, the shovels, everybody kind of has their own directional difference, which made it really exciting. I'll let you guys in on a little secret. I was in a much, much better mood on Friday when we pulled the covers off than I was Thursday afternoon when all 6 bikes still weren't accounted for.
Well, who was the last to get there?
You.
Oh. Not the bike. Our bike last to get there?
Your bike was last. Yeah.
One of the fastest guys is the last one to get there, huh?
That's usually how it works.
All right. So my next question for both of you. Tell everybody about your build and inspiration and idea and thought behind it.
Okay.
Well, with mine, obviously I did a real traditional looking kind of a barn find, because to me, right when I heard the vintage tour right away, like in my head, I'm around these old panheads and knuckleheads, flatheads, K models, and go to these old swap meets, and you walk around, and for me, nothing's shiny really. Everything's got a story. It's got patina. It's got history. It's got soul. I always tell everybody, like, these old bikes, they have such soul because it's old parts that some old farmer was probably ripping the town on, getting groceries at one point and chasing coyotes away from his sheep, and all the crazy stuff that goes on with the old school stuff. And I thought right away in my head, like, if it's a vintage tour, in my mind, I want to have this bike look like it came out of a barn. It's a 1946, 47 kind of knucklehead, and use that brand new motor to kind of showcase to people that you can do this too. Like, I mean, I've been collecting old bikes and parts for a long time, and it's harder than hell to find an original knuckle anymore, unless you want to spend 35 grand just for an engine. And it's like, that's ridiculous. And most of those motors need another 15 grand in work to get them even usable. Now it's like I used all this old original stuff, but through this brand new motor that's going to be bulletproof and faster than hell. And I race these bikes in the winter. Like my old knuckles, I'm on the ice racing them with studded tires and stuff. And it's going to be fun because a lot of people will know right away, but people that don't know are going to see me on this old crusty beat up, looks like it shouldn't even run knuckle. And I'm going to be lapping everybody else. They're going to be like, what the hell's going on there? What's that thing got going in it? And it'll be in the pits where they walk up and realize, holy shit, no, that's an S&S motor. Like, that thing looks like it's a 1947. Like, how'd you do that? And So for me, I mean, I guess I feel almost like I cheated because I know the other guys, they had to really put some passion into making sure stuff is polished and shiny and nice, where I was just kind of like grabbing crusty old stuff that I had in my stash and putting together something though that was my style. Like I look at the bike now, I wouldn't change anything. Like I love it. It's exactly what I like in bikes, and I'm going to ride the heck out of it when I get it back. It's going to see a lot of miles. It's going to see a lot of racing. And it's going to tell a story. And I'm hoping that I can use that to help other people that they found an old rolling chassis in a barn, but the motor's missing. Well, I need to find a knuckle. Well, good luck. Hey, guess what? You can get one through S&S now and have something that you can patina it a little bit and make it look a little older, put it right in there. It bolted right up to all the original stuff. There was no issues. So that was cool. And I just feel like it's a good way to show some of these people that are looking that, hey, there's an option now. There was never an option before. You got a real one or you didn't. And then you were sitting for years going to swap meets, buying an oil pump and buying a tappet block and buying a one rocker. And it's just crazy how it took to get a knuckle done.
Right.
And this is going to show that, yeah, it's not the purest. And I've never been a purist. I like old stuff and original, but my bikes are mismatched. They're all mutts. And I don't care if somebody nitpicks like, oh, that's the wrong Parkerized part and that should be CAD. And I'm gonna be like, you know what? I rode my 47 knuckle from Lakeville, Minnesota to California for Born Free 3. So don't talk to me about what's what. So I feel like I put in the time and I love riding them. I love building them. And this is just going to be a fun one. Like I'm excited to get on this thing this year and just start pounding the miles and pulling up to the local bike nights and watching people go, what the hell, scratching their head, trying to figure out how I just did a wheelie leaving. So good stuff. But, you know, the bike is definitely like you said, we all have different styles. I love all the other builders. They're all great. Their builds are amazing. And it's just for me, I'm a school teacher. I'm living basically check to check. So for me, I'm scrounging, buying parts. So building this bike I was digging into my secret stash of parts that
I would think being a school teacher is more secure than being a bike builder.
100%.
I mean, you definitely are always going to have a really small paycheck and be able to buy some mac and cheese. But you know what I'm saying? It's like to buy parts for these. If I was going to send pipes out to a chrome plater, I would be like, oh shit, now how much is that going to cost? I got to figure out. Tell the wife, like, hey, this week we're not going to buy chicken. We're going to buy hot dogs because I got to get this pipe.
I need chrome.
Yeah. But anyway, like I say, a lot of the parts on that bike are real deal. It's original stuff, which I'm proud of that. It's kind of neat to see the collaboration between new and old. And when I build bikes with my students, I try to show them, like, there's more than one way to skin a cat. And unless you're a billionaire that can just go out and buy everything you want and go to Meckham and buy all these bikes, if you're going to build something, like, just build within your means, build the way you like it, build what you're going to be happy with. At the end of the day, like if everybody else says, oh, that was dumb or that looks stupid, as long as you like it, piss on them. I mean, who cares what they say? It's about our personal gratitude and satisfaction for taking the bike, going for a ride, bringing it home, looking at it, and just being proud of what we did. So it's definitely, this bike has soul. Like, I guess I'll bring back to that concept of the parts are old. It's got that soul in it that I wish each part I got could talk to me. Be like, oh yeah, this came from Iowa and this one was from Indiana. And just to know like all that soul and history, I know it's things. So yeah, I hope everybody digs it. I hope you guys do. It's definitely different than the other five for sure.
We definitely like it. Now I want to hear Chip's story about his bike, because as the two knuckleheads sit next to each other, they're very different.
I went the exact opposite route. We wanted to do something that was familiar with what we do on the day-to-day, but yet different, meaning we haven't done it before. The knuckle platform was a great start. Moving into the chassis, rubber mounting the knuckle posed numerous problems, which is probably why you don't see many of them in FXR chassis or even bagger chassis. So getting around that hurdle was the first problem. Once we got around that, it was like, all right, well, what do we do now that can be different? And it was like, well, let's just do everything the exact opposite of what it should be. So instead of having traditional internals in the forks, we did state-of-the-art stuff with Öhlins, rear shocks. Everyone's running what they consider performance shocks, so we had to take it up a step higher to the ultimate in performance shocks, which is a TTX system, which that requires a whole lot of thinking and manufacturing just to be able to mount the stupid things, the things you have to create just to take up the gaps that aren't there because they're not for this purpose. And then it moved into the oil bag and battery box, which it started off, I was like, hey, let's just make an oil bag and reverse it. So it's just opposite of what it should be. And then that took a life of its own, and that took about 6 months. And I can't even tell you how much time and money and trial and error and thinking and just trying to make something that we had no idea. We've never made anything like that. So from a manufacturing aspect, to try and figure out the proper tooling to use and the way to manufacture it, the way to hold things, and you're dealing with a chunk of metal, it's this big, and it was a lot of thinking. And then obviously once we had that in place, we then had to figure out the rest of the stuff. So on the FXR, if you have an FXR or even an older bike, it's like you could put your key in one day and it's a Sunday morning and it's sunny out, you want to go for a ride, and just nothing. So we had to figure out a way, because FXRs are notorious for that happening and that turning into taking your whole bike apart and trying to figure out what broke where. We wanted an alternate means of starting it. So we had a couple different ways of starting it. You had a key switch where you could start it. We had a kicker, had a push button starter. So all these different ways, or if you're stuck somewhere, you're not actually going to be stuck. You can figure it out. We made wheels and some foot control stuff. Triple trees we made with Kraus. We did a modern LP4 headlight, titanium bars, a bunch of little one-off things that we made here and there. I'm just drawing a blank because for 7 months it's been sitting here, and then I had to take it to Florida. Now I don't have it here, so it's hard for me to remember every little detail they did.
Tell me about the mounting the exhaust, and then we'll move on from there.
Mounting the exhaust was tricky because I never really, well, I figured that even back in time, back in the day, you wouldn't use like a pole in the hole theory and then force. I thought that I'd be able to figure out a way to maybe modify the head and put something where I could screw into it and have a flange holding the exhaust in. But we ended up taking a precision measurement of the S&S head bore and machining a piece that fit in there very beyond snug, and then building a pipe system off of that. And the reason I wanted to do that is because I don't really like things that can leak. So exhaust, oil, any of that stuff. So I like to figure out a way to take the older stuff and make it a little bit more modern. And with that, a knucklehead, you really can't do much because it's a cast head, and you would really have to get into welding and all that shit and all that. And by that point, I'm like, all right, well, machining a sleeve, sticking it in, and building the pipe around it, that'll work out just fine. I have my friend make me an exhaust system and a muffler. Sorry. We like to run horsepower incorporated mufflers on most of our performance builds. And for this thing, I just shortened it up, and he made a little custom logo because we have similar interests. And we kind of, and then when we got it all mounted up, normally when you make pipes, I guess there's ways of cleaning up your material before you start making the pipe, to which I didn't know, meaning polishing the pipes to get rid of the extrusion lines. That turned into pretty meticulous about that stuff. So to see any kind of lines, like I basically sat there and sanded the shit out of it until it was clean. Then I went and vapor honed it or vapor blasted it to really clean the metal and see what was left. And then I sanded it again, and then I vapored it again until it got like a unique matte kind of rough stainless finish, which is kind of unique. I haven't really turned the bike over and fired it once, but I haven't let it run to where it could heat cycle and change the pipe. So I'm interested to see what that's going to happen, see what color it's going to change, if it looks like traditional stainless. And obviously it'd be kind of cool if it has a gold tint to it, like a matte gold would be nice. But Hot Dog did our paint at the end. He does all of our stuff for the shop, and well, he's kind of an OG at this stuff, so he likes to take what I say and then give me what he thinks he wants. But this time I was like, let's just stick to the plan. I want to do flames, want them to be hidden. I want a lot of candy. And obviously everything else on the bike, for the people who haven't seen it, we blackened everything out. Because I don't like dirty stuff. So it's like the patina stuff I get.
Getting upset.
Patina's different than dirt. These motors, when they get dirty, it's like, shit, what do we do here? And you find yourself just spending so much time keeping them clean, if that's what you're into. So that's where the black stuff came in. Same with the 111. When they're black, it's a lot easier to clean. They look a lot cooler. It's a bit untraditional. And so we just basically went for a traditional FXR style bike with a knucklehead with all performance stuff.
Right on.
Yeah.
So now I'm going to take back to Kevin, then you, Chip. we kind of talked about it, but if you had to pick one feature on your bike that's your favorite, Kevin, what would it be?
I think the paint job. My buddy Matt from MCA did that. That's original panhead tanks that we stripped. They were full. Actually, they had leading in them. So Chip, the old school, it wasn't. They were leaded, so it was done by. And I knew something was weird because when I got them, they were heavier than hell. And I'm like, looked inside. There's a bunch of crap cream sealer in them, but I knew like something's different about these. These suckers are heavier than hell. When we stripped them, they had lead in them all over. Somebody did the old school, the cigar in the mouth, lead.
Yeah. What was that dude's name?
I can't remember. He's a hot rod guy, but he's a little
yeah.
stogie, and he'd be, but it was kind of cool. It added to the neatness of the stuff I've used. And the rear fender was actually the fender that was on my 47 knuckle when I rode all the way to California and back from here. And that bike became more of a traditional real part one with a full fender and everything, I put that fender on the wall and said, someday I'll use it on something else maybe. So I brought it down for this build, had it stripped, and my buddy Matt from MCA Customs, like he hammered that paint. I mean, it looks like it came from an 80-year-old bike. I'm really excited about getting it out and showing people because when you look at it, I mean, you guys saw it. It doesn't look like it was just painted a month ago. It looks like it's, and it's, know, when people try to fake their patina and it just looks super gaudy and fake, it's like, lame. He made it really look like there's the gas strips down the side. He made it look like that tank's been on that bike since it was built and just ridden hard and beat up. And so I think out of the whole thing, when I look at it, that paint job and the tins and everything and the story behind those, just that really strikes a tune with me. That's got sold, definitely. Whoever was leading those tanks, that was an old timer.
Yeah, 100%.
I'm guessing I know what it is with you, Chip, but
what? Oh, I don't know. I like the middle of the bike the most. Like the motor, the relationship of the motor, the transmission, the exhaust, the oil bag. I mean, it's hard to pick one piece because.
How many pieces are in the oil bag?
14. 14 pieces. We have a centerpiece, 3 side pieces on each side, 2 side pieces for the battery box, bottom piece, front piece, and then a couple brackets for mounting it.
That was the coolest thing sitting down with you there, Chip, when we were looking it over and I asked you about it. And I'm like, man, that's so cool. And I'm like, well, you going to start selling them? You're like, hell no, it'd be too expensive.
Yeah. I mean, no one could, I don't know how we all know how it happens. You have a fucking goal and you're going to get to the goal and whatever you have to do to get to the goal, whether it's stay late, stay all night, buy tooling. I mean, I've never run our machine all night. And then I was getting ready to go to sleep, and I was like, "Fuck, I got to go to work." And I came down here, and there's nothing wrong. The machine's just doing what the machine does. But my paranoia being like, "Well, what if something breaks and the machine keeps doing what the machine does? I'm gonna come in 5 hours from now, and everything's gonna be totally fucked." But that was the first time doing that. We did that a couple times to get to where we had to be, and it was a big learning curve. It's definitely one of the coolest things we've ever conceptualized and made and brought to a real part. But I like everything about the bike.
What are the sides made out of?
What do you mean? See-through parts?
Yeah.
The technical term I don't know, but it's basically a high temp, high clear factor acrylic.
Okay.
Or maybe it's not an acrylic. Maybe I don't remember. But I thought about that because I didn't want to do the clarity kind of look and then have it turn milky white because the oil gets so hot. And that oil, we're running Motul 300V, which looks like antifreeze. So
yeah,
it's
green.
It kind of gives it in the sun. When the sun hit it, I was like, that's exactly what I wanted to see. Something that confuses people. So we'll see what happens once it gets super hot and it's at operating temperature. But I feel pretty confident.
Well, I think people are going to, when they see it, they'll be looking, as we're talking about it, there's going to be a picture of it up on screen. So that'll help them understand what we're talking about. But seeing it in person for me was really cool. Seeing Kevin's bike, where it was funny just looking at your two bikes, because Kevin made our brand new engine look old to the point where he stuck dirt on it that's stuck on it. Because I tried to wipe the bikes down one morning because it had been a little windy overnight. Even though we have the tent covering it, some dust got in there. So I'm wiping the bikes down and I'm trying to wipe Kevin's engine down before I realize the dirt is stuck to the case. I'm not wiping it off. It's stuck. And then there's your bike that you could have made lunch on it and it would have been safe, right?
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, I've never had an FXR, but if I would, Chip's got the one that's in my dreams now.
Oh, thanks, buddy. Feel free to take it for a spin.
Oh, I'd love to.
Well, you already took pictures on it.
Yeah. I got your consent. You weren't there, but I know.
No, that's cool.
You should have seen what he did. Nah, never mind.
Yeah, that wheelie Willard, huh? All of Howard's wheelie pictures, I had to show him up, and that one lady that was yelling, "Get out of the way, get out of the way," and I did that wheelie right through.
That's funny.
Oh man. So guys, what'd you think about the unveiling? How'd that make you feel?
It was good.
I think it was cool, but I think we talked about it. It was kind of early in the morning and lots going on, so it wasn't I almost felt like it would have been kind of neat to do like a broken spoke on stage, or we roll them up on stage or something.
Yep.
Because
in that place seemed like a nightmare to deal with.
Yeah. I had a lot of friends who wanted to come see him, and they're like, we couldn't get in. We're like, we weren't going to wait in line for an hour.
Just the whole traffic and it's so different than everywhere else. It's different than Sturgis, because Sturgis, you get fed up, you can just split, go into the Black Hills, get lost for a couple hours, come back and be like, all right, I got my biker in. Now I can deal with these guys. But there, it's like, fuck, you can't go fast. You can't lane split. You can't get it. Everywhere is just 2 lanes of 4 people going 20. And to get anywhere, it just seemed to take forever.
Yeah.
And then every event has like a whole different little like kind of community, like the Main Street community. And then there's the dealership community. And then there's like the tropical tattoo community of those guys.
Right.
So it's like, it's just so diverse. And honestly, I feel Florida like it is back in the timeline. Like, like I don't know how to say it, because I understand it all, but it just seemed like if you look at it percentage wise, there's probably like 70% street glides.
Yeah.
As an overall, which that's.
I was able to see some of the vintage guys out there. They had some swap meets, which was cool, and they kind of said, just you come out here with our kind of shit, you just want to go ride to the Keys and get out of here.
Yeah, and just go to where the vintage guys are. Same with the FXR guys. They were external of the whole dealership and downtown and all the other shows.
But to your point, Chip, that was what made our event kind of cool, is it wasn't 6 street guides lined up, right?
Yeah.
6 really diverse bikes with vintage engines that when people walked in and they were like, that's a knuckle? That's a pan? That's a shot? Wait a minute. And then all of a sudden they spent the next half hour crawling around the 6 bikes to take it all in, because conceptually you don't expect that, right? You don't expect the vintage stuff. So, all right. So I'm going to ask you guys one more question and I'll let you get back to work, Chip, and Teach, I'll let you get back to evening beer. Now that you guys are kind of part of the history of S&S, the people that have been involved in our builds, right? So the original 145, the 124, the shovel tour, the 50th anniversary, and now bringing it back with the vintage tour. What would you tell people that if we do one again next year, that they should know, think about what's cool about it, what's not cool, or like what advice would you give them?
That's a weird question.
Yeah. I didn't have much time, so everything was on a crazy time frame for me. I was scrambling.
Yeah, timelines always suck. Like, I agree with you there, and like that was one of the biggest frustrating, not to get off subject of your question, Howard, but to what Kevin just said, timelines, you forget. Like, if you haven't done it and you're on a serious deadline and you're here to make a presentation, whether it's vintage, nice, who gives a shit, it sucks. Because anything can go wrong, and sometimes it's out of your control. Sometimes the polisher, the old theory or the old saying, a polisher can ruin anything. That happened. So it's like, okay, well, what's the opportunity here? Well, there is none. So we have to remake the part and start over. It's like, well, that puts us 5 days. And if that happens a couple times, well, that's a month. Then you're behind schedule, and timelines are hard, dude. They are hard.
Asking other builders that have built always, but if it was somebody newer, I would tell them, hey, remember Murphy's Law. If something can go wrong, it will.
Yeah,
your plan B.
Right at the last minute. I mean, literally, I didn't tell you guys this shit. When we were putting in our axle, we've had it in 100 fucking times. Put it in, tightened it up. And I was like, I was doing wheel spacing. I was like, all right, did all my shit, cut my spacers, got everything set up, measured them. I was like, all right, went and grabbed the nut. I'm like, oh, what's going on? And the relationship of stainless and stainless. It's like, well, either it's going to be seamless or it's going to be and it galls.
Well together.
Yeah. So we have a one-off swing arm with a one-off axle with one-off axle plates and one-off nuts. And we had to cut it out without cutting anything else. And then figure out, you know how it goes. It's, oh, just make an axle. Okay, cool. Let me get some cold rolled steel and cut some threads. And at 11 o'clock at night, that's exactly what you want to do. But yeah, that happened to us the 2 nights before we were supposed to leave. So yeah, we had a bunch of trials and tribulations, but people don't know how stressful it can be.
Was it fun?
Yeah. But I would tell people to come check it out. I mean, next year, if you do it again, it'll either be the same group of guys or a different group of guys. Either way, the expectation of what should be done should be there. So it's not like anything I would say is going to be not up to par. So anything that you guys choose, the builders you choose, should be able to deliver.
Yeah, I know for a lot. My big thing would be don't be a dick. You're in on this. Put your ego aside. And I think the 6 of us get along pretty damn good.
Yeah, because we've been doing this a long time. With what you just said, there's guys who are looking for the attention, looking for the score. They think, oh, if I do this, I'm going to get this much in ROI. It's no, dude, no.
Yeah. And Howard, you told us from day one, I want this to be fun. And like our text thread, we always joke about it, but that's good stuff. We can razz each other, we can praise each other, we can be like, oh, shit each other. And it was just kind of neat, kind of seeing everybody's builds taking shape, and it helped kind of build up to, like, me wanting to see the bikes in person. Like, holy shit, the stuff I was seeing like on Chip's build, I'm like, god damn it, I can't wait to see this thing in person. I can't wait to sit on it if he lets me.
Well, you can ride it. Go ahead.
For those people listening or watching, what Kevin was talking about is when we first got the whole group together, we started a group text, and it was an introduction of everybody to make sure everybody knew everyone. Everybody had everybody's contact number, and it grew into some of the most interesting pictures, conversation, discussion. And if I could ever figure out how to extract one chain of text out of a phone, it would make a cool book. It really would.
You can do that via PDF. That's the only way to do it. I had to do that to go to court once.
Oh.
Well, we didn't end up going to court because of the PDF. It was for a customer who ordered a $60,000 bike and then decided that he didn't think that he needed to pay. And well, every time, if you want a nut or a bolt, I'm going to be like, okay, cool. This nut is $12 that you want. Okay, I'm going to add it to your RO. And when it gets legal, those things become legal. So I had to figure out a way. The guy literally told me, he goes, you have 72 hours to figure out a way to give me all those texts. And it was difficult because it was a year's worth of text with the same individual. So to save it all,
I have a year's worth of text with 6 of you guys.
Right. So you have some funny moments in there.
Oh gosh, yeah. All right. So anything in final before we go, guys? Anything you want to say?
Man, I really appreciate the opportunity to do it, and I hope we get to do it again. I love working with you guys. It's a great time.
And Chip, you're not coming to Minnesota here for the show?
No, I can't. I mean, Howard had to remind me about this today because we have the kind of shop that we have 4 lifts and it's just 2 of us working. And if somebody comes into the retail zone, it could be for a t-shirt, a hat, or a $30,000 build. And they're ready to go through it and knock it out and get their deposit in. So sometimes you got to sit there for a couple hours and do that. And so I don't have any employees to be able to just split and go. Like Daytona took a lot out of it between the transportation. Like, here's another funny story. Right when we were leaving, we have dedicated drivers for our shop with dedicated trailers. They haul our stuff everywhere we need to go. And no one took into account that the bike is 18 inches longer than the normal bikes that we built. So right at the end, we're like, hey, we can't fit all the bikes. And that literally was like, here's the options. Either the bikes don't go or we take another truck and trailer. And it was that fast. Like, well, another truck and trailer costs how many thousands?
Yeah.
Right. So it's like, but that was like what was going on here because it's external of S&S. We were on the other side at HPI and had our bikes on display, and we had a couple bikes at Dark Horse. So it was like, I didn't want to not be able to do what we committed to doing. So we had to suck that up, and that kind of hurt. But that's why we're not going to Donnie Smith, because also we have to get ready for Born Free, which, whew, yeah, Howard, you've never been to Born Free yet? You're
Who
gonna
has?
love it. You.
I've been many times.
No, the new Born Free.
Oh,
you haven't been to the new Born Free yet, have you? The new spot?
Where's it now?
When was the last time you were out?
I built one for Born Free 5 and 6.
That was still, this is, I think, Silverado. That was the first one. Yeah, before that, it was in the garages and in the alleys.
For those two, I did.
Yeah. So Howard, have you been to Silverado? Have you been? Okay. All right.
Oh yeah.
I didn't know. Okay, cool.
I've only lived away for the last 3 years, so.
Oh, all right. I didn't know that. I thought it was like 5 or 7. Oh, all right.
I've been in California for a long time.
We went over the logistics for our area today, and it's going to be pretty popping. So get ready.
I'm planning on coming out, so hopefully I get to hang out with you. I'd like to see your shop, Chip, if I can get in early enough. I don't know how early you get.
Just let me know where you're flying into, and I mean if you're flying into LA or San Diego, and then we'll figure it out from there. If it's San Diego, it's literally right across the street from the airport.
All right, we're having a conversation that is going way off the. But again, this is we recorded it in one take, and it wasn't super edited and all that.
That's what editing's for too.
Oh no, we actually want people to get to know you guys and the way you are. So all of this will be in the podcast. So guys, I'm going to say thank you. S&S thanks you very much for your participation in the project. It's really exciting for us internally and of course externally. So thank you guys. I appreciate you.
Appreciate it. Thank you again.